Kenya is set to start its local vaccine manufacturing as it seeks to cushion its citizens from future supply hitches. On this week's episode of Health Watch, we look into Kenya's journey towards human vaccine manufacturing. Vaccine inequity and hoarding has made Kenya think of producing and manufacturing its own human vaccines. According to the National COVID-19 Deployment Plan, Kenya aims to have a fully fledged vaccine manufacturing capabilities by 2024.
But this is initially a fill and finish, so we will be getting the bulk product from other facilities like facility in South Africa called the Aspen J&J production facility, with a view that eventually that we will even do more than that as we move down the line to now really try to produce our own vaccines.
The other thing that has led to low vaccination numbers is the slow uptake of vaccines among teenagers who are in school.
We are laying strategies for vaccination, especially in schools. As you realize, it's also the exam term. So we have to put a lot of consideration. We are not just allowed to walk into schools as people are preparing for exams. We don't want to cause anxiety for people going to sit exams, but we are coming up with a calendar that will allow us to reach out to schools and colleges a lot more effectively with vaccination.
The Ministry of Health's Principal Secretary explains that self-reliance is the only armor that the country needs if it is to adequately address future health emergencies in a sustainable manner.
We basically got access to vaccines when the developed countries had already satisfied their demand. And we fought as developing countries to really have an equal platform globally for us to get vaccines like everybody else did, but we did not get it. So that obviously made it very clear to us that the issue of self-reliance is one that is of utmost importance, even just from a national security point of view. We were all exposed, we were all vulnerable, but with an ability to do nothing much about the situation. And that is why the Kenyan government made the decision that in securing its interests, in safeguarding the health of its population, it will have a human vaccine production plant.
With COVID-19 still with us, the Ministry of Health says it will be cheaper and cost-effective if the country has locally manufactured vaccines to sustain the growing demand.
We have learned now with COVID that we may require other doses beyond the first dose. There is the second dose. We may need a third and a fourth dose. Will we continue to procure from outside? We are better off having the vaccines here for our own people. We are also well informed that public health threats will continue to be part of our existence going forward because of climate change, because of many factors that have changed around how we live and how we operate. So COVID is just a beginning. That is what we are informed by public health experts. So are we going to wait for a time when we will find ourselves again on our knees? So we need to be proactive, and that is why the government made that decision that going forward, in view of what the future looks like, in view of the fact that even as things stand, we do require vaccines. We still use measles vaccines, we still have polio vaccines. Maybe it is also time we started to produce them instead of continuing to rely on bringing vaccines from out for our own population.
The Health Cabinet Secretary last year commissioned the BioVax by naming the board of directors who will spearhead the operations. But is BioVax ready to start its fill and finish production of vaccines anytime soon?
To me, it is feasible because all you need is fast technological transfer. The basic human capacity is in the country. Space is not a very big challenge. You know, we are not constructing from the beginning. But the actual roadmap towards when they will do that, I would defer that to the board that is now responsible for Kenya BioVax. It's important to know that the whole spectrum of vaccine manufacturing, under the roadmap for Kenya BioVax, you have what can be done in the immediate, which will be fill and finish. Basically meaning you bring the vaccine material, the substance, that is then put into vials and then distributed. So that's the fill and finish. But at the same time, building the capacity towards now the full-scale manufacturing. So Kenya Biovacs in the long term will go to full-scale manufacturing, but starts with fill and finish. Fill and finish, it is feasible that with the right partnership, that can happen. But messenger RNA is also an exciting technology. It's a much easier one to adopt. I think if the transfer is done in good time, then we will soon be able to manufacture many vaccine types on that platform.
Biovacs, that is yet to start its fill and finish of vaccines, is supposed to use one of the warehouses that belongs to KEMSA in Embakasi, Nairobi. This is supposed to help third parties repackage vaccines from the main manufacturer into vials before distribution. But up to date, the warehouse is a silent structure. It has not been occupied yet. The Biovacs Institute remains a boardroom discussion with no actual ground preparation.
Looking at leasing some of our space to them so that they can carry out the operations, because we happen to have extra space and maybe at the ideal location, or an area that would be ideal for that kind of operation. So basically, that's all I can say. And we are at the stage where we have not even gotten into any lease arrangement with them yet.
Dr. Bernhards Ogutu, a researcher at Cambridge, says having human vaccine manufacturing highly depends on the political will of the country and how intentional those in power are.
When you have the structures for the organization being put in place, then now people can go into the next thing is basically starting to work on the systems. How do we procure the manufacturing plant that you want to start off with? How do we now formalize? Because now with an officer or an established office in place, they now can start negotiating with different companies that they can subcontract them to start producing their vaccines locally.
When it comes to homegrown vaccines, Cambridge is also taking part in the research of Antikov with collaborations with the Drug for Neglected Diseases Initiative, DNDi. Antikov is an adaptive platform, a flexible and innovative trial design that allows for treatments to be added or removed as new evidence emerges. It has started recruitment of participants to test a new promising drug combination as an early treatment for people affected with mild to moderate COVID-19. And also, it's coming up with oral COVID-19 treatment that is safe, affordable, accessible, and adapted to the specific needs of low and middle income countries.
We are part of some of the founding members of the Antikov platform. Yes, Cambridge is one of them. And unfortunately, I'm the one who represents Cambridge on that platform.
Yeah. How far are we with the Antikov?
No, the studies are ongoing. Now that the number of cases of COVID, because this is optimizing and repurposing the drugs that are possibly thought to have effect on COVID. So we are evaluating a number of treatments to see which one works, which one doesn't work, so that the trial is decided that whatever doesn't work, you drop it off and continue the one that are showing promise, so that you can see how well then so the study.
As this happens, Kenya was chosen among 6 other countries by the World Health Organization, WHO, to receive tools needed to produce mRNA vaccines in Africa. Egypt, Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, South Africa, and Tunisia will receive training and technical know-how on how to produce this type of vaccine.
So the news about Kenya being among 6 countries where the technology, which is now the modern technology in vaccine manufacturing, that Kenya would be one of the 6 countries, was absolutely welcome. It is going to be a boost towards not only COVID-19, but towards disease preparedness and future pandemics as well.
The formation of the Biovacs Institute is fully supported by the government of Kenya.
The government has set aside in total of just about 3.2 billion for the establishment of the manufacturing for human vaccine, And that is in the first phase where we are just focusing on form and fill. We get the vaccine in bulk and we package it and we distribute it amongst our people. Once we have done that, and which we expect should be completed in the next financial year, because we have already started the procurement process, we have evaluated, we are about to award the consultants who are going to design and build, and those that are going to support us in the certification process, because there's a lot of intricate certification that is required for manufacturing of vaccines, and not just by our own local authorities, but international organizations as well. So we are expecting that going into the next 1-2 months, the work will begin, and we are looking at a time frame of at least in the next 12 months, we should be able to have some form and fill capacities in the country.
The manufacturing of mRNA vaccines in the country and also the establishment of the BioVax facility is said to place Kenya on the map among countries that are prepared for any eventualities.
With the messenger RNA technology, it is easier to, once you know where mutations have occurred, to then tweak the vaccine to address those much easier. The other technologies may require a complete new vaccine development, which will take long. So it definitely places Africa in a situation where once they enhance their research and development, they could be ahead of the game or address it earlier than we've done with the current pandemic.
The components required for successful vaccine manufacturing go beyond the pharmaceutical ingredients required. Key to this process is the waiving of patents.
What is required to make the vaccine is so critical. You could have a factory, but if you don't have those ingredients, then there'll be no production. So strategically, the technical team that advises the BioVax has prioritized the need to engage partners that will ensure we have active pharmaceutical ingredients.
As Kenya works towards addressing the vulnerability of the country towards future health emergencies, it's evident that having a local production plant will boost our capacity, and it will be a step towards self-sustenance. Beldin Waliaula, KTN News.